creating a nuclear energy benefit or hazard presentation, and I would just like to talk about first my different thoughts and opinions on the subject before I began my research and before I had a chance to understand the whole process better. So, I think that nuclear energy definitely does have some positive aspects as it does create a lot of energy and has been sustaining our world for a very long time. But I do feel as if there have been some very serious disasters that almost make it not worth continuing usage because they have devastated millions of people and have really caused problems. So, currently at this moment, before I begin my research, I am mixed towards my feelings about this subject, but I'm looking forward to investigating and understanding everything better so I can make a more educated decision. Thank you. So, Jesse, what do you, as a grade 9 student, know about nuclear energy?
Oh, not too much. Only what I've seen in movies.
Okay, well, what have you seen in movies?
Well, when there's a big nuclear reaction and it explodes and plants come to life and they eat people and stuff.
Hi, my name is Karen, and today I'm going to talk about nuclear reactions. Nuclear reactions are a very important part of life. There's a big difference between nuclear reactions and chemical reactions. Nuclear reactions occur when there is a transfer of protons or neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. However, chemical reactions occur when there is a transfer of electrons from the outer valence shells into another atom. There are two main types of nuclear reactions: nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. Nuclear fusion is when two smaller nuclei fuse together to make one larger nucleus. I remember this one because fusion and fuse together sound very similar, and when something fuses together, generally it becomes bigger. An example of nuclear fusion is the type of reaction that occurs on the surface of the sun. Nuclear fission, on the other hand, occurs when a larger nucleus is bombarded by either an alpha or a beta particle, causing it to break apart into two smaller nuclei, emitting a lot of energy. An example of this type of nuclear reaction is the type of reaction that is used to create power at a power plant such as Bruce Nuclear. Hope this helps.
If there were a nuclear war, the disasters would be unimaginable. With the little boy and fat man, the world realized what an absolute disaster man had created with nuclear bomb. If it were to let go in this day and age with the education and the awareness that our society has, it is unimaginable that any man on this planet would let that happen.
Because nuclear energy has really caused some very serious issues in our world, I wanted to look into the different safety precautions and different elements that the companies have put in place to avoid having problems such as Chernobyl or as the Japanese earthquake, which was when there was an earthquake and the Japanese nuclear reaction plant went into a meltdown after Chernobyl, which was tens of years ago. Are people able to now go back and begin rehabilitating the area? So clearly, nuclear reactions have not had the best luck in making it a safe and plausible form of energy harvesting, even though it does create lots of energy. So the three basic safety functions in a nuclear reactor plant is to control the reactivity, to cool the fuel, and also to contain the radioactive substances. And a problem is that by cooling the fuel, they are normally placed near a large body of water, which can lead to problems with tsunamis or different earthquakes or relationships with the environment. So the companies have been working really hard and creating different walls and barriers like they had at Fukushima to reduce any threat by the environment and cause extreme damages. Another thing that nuclear energy power plants have put in place is something called a SCRAM. And a SCRAM is a sudden reactor shutdown. And this can be because of a malfunction or seismic activity or any other reason it could be even shut down manually, but the fission reaction generating the main heat stops. And there is a considerable amount of heat that is still released because of the process taking place and the radioactive decay of the fission products in the fuel. And this heat does release for a certain period of time, but it is eventually reduced to the below normal level, and the reaction plant can begin to be in its cold shutdown state, which means that it is not releasing any heat and is virtually not going to be a harm to anyone, should anything happen. I have talked to a lot of people, even my friends and colleagues who are not in the video today, and the overall consensus was that nuclear energy is something very harmful and very dangerous for the environment and for ourselves. And although I do agree with them and I understand their reasoning, because it hasn't been portrayed well in movies or in the media, and there have been some very serious threats, the nuclear bombing threats, as well as threats to the environment because of different disasters that have happened in the past and could happen in the future, I think that it is important to understand the processes such as nuclear fission and nuclear fusion, and to also understand what exactly is taking place and the different safety precautions that the world has really worked on in order to make it a viable, different, and somewhat sustainable energy production resource. And as I have said before, it does have a lot of safety precautions, so I don't believe that it is a total hazard. I do believe, however, that it is necessary to pursue more green and less harmful energy sources, but for the time being, when those sources are still in development, it is necessary to provide energy for the world, and if the only way to do so is by nuclear energy, I am supporting this process. So, in conclusion, I do not believe that nuclear energy is a total hazard, but there are some serious hazardous elements, but there also are some serious benefits as well.